What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best class tier list in Avowed. So this game is finally here and its class system is very fun because it allows players to take advantage of a lot of abilities to build your character in the way you want. Overall, Avowed features 3 different classes with 3 distinct combat styles that focuses on ranged or melee combat. So we got the Fighter, Ranger and the Wizard. Each one of them have their own strengths and weaknesses. If you want to find out what is the best class and the one that you will enjoy the most, then let's get right into it. So let's move over to the first class, which is the Fighter, and we will place him right in the S tier. This class is straightforward to play as you want to stay at the front line and must always keep an eye out on your stamina as you dash between the enemies and avoid ranged attacks. As I mentioned, the Fighter will mainly fight in close combat, as its ability tree contains abilities that are focused on high damage heavy melee weapons like the axes, maces and two-handed melee weapons like the swords and much more. As players spend points into the tree, the Fighter class will grant them stamina management, travel speed, crowd control and blocking with the shields. Overall, the Fighter is the strongest class in Avowed, especially at the launch, as it is the most forgiving one for those who don't have much experience with this type of game. The early leveling can be quite brutal, so level 1 abilities like the toughness and the constant recovery will help the new players a lot. Although the Fighter doesn't have as many offensive abilities as for example the Wizard, you will still get temporarily buffs later on from other abilities, which can turn you into an unstoppable melee machine. Skills like the Barbaric Shout, Devastating Criticals and the Brawn are all unlocked at level 5, and will offer massive boost to your combat performance. However, as you know, you can choose and tailor your specific build and playstyle, so if you want to focus on the Fighter abilities, then you will be extremely tough to kill and highly effective in combat. You will also be able to summon a bear to fight with you at level 15 and much more. For Fighter, the toughness is a great skill because it gives you a lot of HP for very little investment. Then second, the retribution is also another good skill for many builds because it simply increases your damage of your next attack whenever you take damage, which will be pretty much every fight. And finally, the Clear Out is pretty much a must-have ability if you have no other AoE type of skills. It has a bigger hitbox than you would think, and it does quite a bit of stun while also knocking the enemies down. So in a summary, if you're looking for a typical melee character that can smash and run through the enemies, then this is the one for you. Next up we have the Wizard, and he is also in the S tier. This class heavily focuses on spell casting and has much different dynamic from the other classes. Wizard is not as straightforward as other classes that focus on movement, repositioning and physical combat, because Wizard has multiple magical effects such as the elemental effect and the essence management that work together and quickly, which are mainly based on smart placement during the combat. You will usually be using a wand, a pistol or the grimoire to cast spells over the enemies, as they can unlock a passive ability called the Grimoire Mastery, which can then unlock higher level spells that are only contained in the grimoires. Ranking up this ability will allow the Wizard to cast spells even without the grimoire equipped by adding the skills to your action bar. If you decide to go down the ranged combat, then the Spellcaster is definitely for you. Wizard can easily outperform the other 2 classes in the terms of raw damage, because its main trade-off is his inability to defend yourself, specifically while holding your weapon, so you will need to be more careful and focused on dodging the enemy attacks. The level 1 Wizard abilities are the best in game, with skills like the Minor Missiles and the Chill Blades. Later on, you will also get access to way more tools than any other class, and you will quickly find yourself with a bunch of offensive options to choose from. This class will make you to build quite specifically towards a particular element or the damage type, as this way you will get the highest damage numbers possible in the game. And as far as I have found, then the Frost abilities have proven to be the most potent in your arsenal as you progress through the leveling system. Also keep in mind that spells cannot do critical hits, so this makes the Might more useful to the casters than the Perception. Then also you want to use Arcane Veil, as it is the best all-around spell in Avowed. I pretty much recommend to take it on every build. On top of this, don't use the Secret of the Rime, Scion of Flame, Heart of the Storm and Spirit of Decay for the Wizard, as they will not increase your damage whatsoever. And lastly, Harvest the Essence is a strong passive to help you keep your essence full between the fights, so don't forget about it. Overall, if you like ranged combat and you want to do the highest damage possible in the game while also focusing on dodging, then the Wizard is definitely for you. And then finally, for the last class we have Ranger, and he deserves to be placed right in the A tier. Ranger's fighting style is all about switching between the melee and range playstyle, and familiarizing yourself with repositioning, to take the advantage of sniping your targets from a long distance. The Ranger is a master of ranged combat and only does melee combat in short periods. They may not be as lethal as the fighter in close quarters, or do as much damage as the Wizard, but they can avoid combat with their stealth abilities, then also avoid being the main target by repositioning, or even perform super cool sneak attacks. The Ranger being in the A tier does not mean that you should not play him. However, by its nature, it's tougher to be effective as him, because most of your damage and efficiency will be dependent on how consistently you can hit your skill shots. The level 1 ability, the steady aim, is a must-have, as it will make your life a lot easier by slowing the time when you're lining up your bow shots. Also, you can add to this ability the level 5 marksmanship, which will increase your long range damage even further. Although you will be mostly playing from the range, there are several ranged abilities that increase your powers with the melee weapons, so it is a great option if you're looking to play in a hybrid style. You will also get access to the Bear Companion, so he will be more useful than for example against the Wizard. As far as your abilities go, the Tanglefoot is the best all-around starting skill, unless you are playing a pure melee character, so consider taking this if you play any sort of ranged build. Then next we want to get Parry, as it's perfect even if you use the melee skill only sometimes, because it will allow us to parry incoming attacks. You only need 1 point to do this, so consider just dropping 1 point and test it out. Also, the Ranger goes great with the Scavenger. With 2 ranks you can reduce the cost to upgrade your weapons and armor by 25%, which is a huge buff. And finally, we should also get the Critical Strike, as it's arguably the best skill in the game, because it passively increases your critical chance. Overall, if you're looking for the best of both worlds, so a combination between the ranged and melee, while also having a sneak attacks and a lot of stealth mechanics, then the Ranger is definitely for you. So with that said, thanks for watching guys. Please let me know what you think about Avowed and which class are you going to play in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. So take it easy, peace.